And we now come to the World Cup draw for next year's Football World Cup. A record 48 nations are competing in the tournament, which is being jointly hosted by the US, Mexico and Canada. The leaders of those three nations, US President Donald Trump, Mexico's Claudia Sheinbaum and Canada's Mark Carney, revealed the makeup of the 12 groupings. Defending champions Argentina find themselves in Group J to face Algeria, Austria and Jordan. Brazil is in Group C with Morocco, Haiti and Scotland. And Germany have drawn Ecuador, Curacao and Ivory Coast in Group E. So which teams have the best shot of going all the way? I put that question to sports analyst Constantin Eckner.
I believe Spain are unsurprisingly the favorites to win the World Cup. Still, even though Rodri, their best player in 2024, might not be a factor anymore next year, but still Spain, they have the strongest squad overall. And so I believe they should be considered the favorites to win the World Cup.
Rather good group for Germany, don't you think?
Yeah, I believe so. I mean, Curacao, first-time participants, the smallest country ever to play at the Men's World Cup. And then Ivory Coast, a couple of players that are well-known in Germany, by the way, including Jan Diamonde, who's right now playing for RB Leipzig, setting the world on fire in the Bundesliga. So that will be an interesting matchup. And then Ecuador, yeah. So three teams that are clearly beatable for the Germany national team.
Now, 48 teams, that means more stories for people like me and you, but also more chaos. Do you think expanding the tournament was the right decision? It was. There was some controversy as well, right?
I give you a clearly yes and no answer there, because it's fun to have more nations being involved, and some of these nations, like Curacao, they are part of the World Cup for the first time, or Haiti for the second time after 1974. So it's great to have some of these nations being part of the World Cup. But on the other hand, it's of course a watered down format now. And when you look at the group stage, 48 nations are participating. 32 will advance to the knockout stage. So there's not much at stake when you look at these individual group stage games in particular.
Now, let's come to this rather bizarre ceremony. The draw ceremony wasn't just about football. Donald Trump received FIFA's Peace Prize, and that made headlines worldwide. Has the line between sports and politics now been blurred?
I believe the line between especially football and politics, that line has been blurred for many decades, maybe. I mean, if we look back at the 1978 World Cup in Argentina, but particularly in the past couple of years with Gianni Infantino bowing down to heads of states, be it at the previous World Cup in Qatar or now bowing down to Donald Trump and staging the celebration of a made-up peace prize. But it's just a means for Infantino to appease Donald Trump and to stroke his ego even more.
Now, in terms of the world of football, which it mainly consists of football fans, how has this whole shenanigans, how has that been received?
I think a lot of football fans are just shaking their heads right now because of how Infantino interacts with Donald Trump, but also yesterday's tour. If we are looking back at the entire ceremony, I mean, there were some sports stars on stage: Tom Brady, Wayne Gretzky. Not many footballers were on stage, to be honest. I mean, it was filled with sports stars, but where were the footballers? So it was a big show, but it felt more like showbiz, even more like the Oscars, and not like the celebration of football and clear-cut World Cup draw. So yeah, I mean, football fans, I think they have gotten used to these kinds of events and just Gianni Infantino in general behaving like the circus director of world football. But of course, I mean, it might push some fans at least away from the World Cup and these FIFA events in particular.
The sports analyst and journalist Constantin Eckner there. Thank you very much, Constantin.
Thank you.